What's up, guys? Back again. Today, okay, so I dropped a post about having a interview with someone that operates in crime intelligence, and we're gonna have a discussion on human trafficking. Getting hold of the dude's a bit hard. I mean, he's obviously on the job all the time, and it's obviously not the easiest job, and the hours are heavy. So if the dude's not working, he's resting. But it's coming. I think it's something we should be looking forward to. On one hand, it's going to be very interesting to hear what this guy has to say, and being in the thick of it all day long. But it's also going to be a bit of an eye-opener. It's almost even going to sound unbelievable that this is happening literally right under our noses, and that our children are not as safe as what we think they are, and the relation that human trafficking and substance abuse have in our country. So I think that's something that we're going to be looking forward to. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what's happening there. But besides that, thanks for all the likes and subscriptions and comments that have been left. I've had time to read through all of them, and to look at what you guys are asking and the statements you make. Shout out to all the guys that have been through the program, that are still clean and making something of their lives. Cool dudes, I didn't save your life. You guys worked it for yourselves. You guys made it work for you, and you've continued to make it work for you. So, well done to you guys. I'm proud of you, and keep it up, yo. We need you guys out there to fight the good fight. We need you guys out there to go make a difference in the lives of the kids. Get them to stop getting involved in drugs and end up where we were, basically, unnecessarily. So cool, guys. Thanks for the comments and the likes. Anyway, there's so many topics to choose from. The one that did stand out, though, is one that I get asked a lot by people. Is so you've got a kid, he's an addict in your house, or she's an addict in your house, and you're a parent. How do you deal with this? The answer is you don't. You don't deal with this. You're a parent. You're not a policeman. You are not geared to handle the dynamics of what's happening in your child's life. I only speak from my experience. I remember I was going bananas in my house for years without anybody actually knowing what was going on. And when they did find out what was going on, there was this absolute disbelief that this thing was actually happening. So I think that might be the first reaction. Another reaction I always come into contact with parents is this impending end. It's like, my child is an addict. So that entire stigma of addiction and what an addict is gets kind of dropped instantaneously, boom, on this kid. And you think it's going to be the end of the world. And you know what? If you as a parent don't do something about this and you enable this thing, it's going to become the end of the world. Definitely going to become the end of the world. So what do you do as a parent? The first thing you do is you need to get in touch with people that actually understand this thing, that have been there, done that have been through this thing with their own families, and first of all, someone to just talk to, someone to ask the questions you need to ask, to get real answers. Don't assume anything. That's also a bad way to go, is don't assume anything. Test your kid. Another big issue that I notice with parents is that they're so afraid that their children aren't going to like them if they actually be parents. If you just draw the line and get out of that mindset of being someone's friend and worrying about whether they're going to like you or not, okay? It's not a question of whether they're going to like you or not. It's a question of saving your child's life. So do the drug tests, all right? I think it should be staple in most homes anyway. I think that if your child gets to a point where they become teenagers and they start going out on their own and they have a friend circle, and you think something is dodgy, then act on how you feel. Don't be afraid that if you're now gonna do a random test on your child, that you are now in some way gonna offend them and they're no longer gonna like you. That's not the point. The point is that if you do that test and you find that something's there, you're gonna catch this problem before it becomes out of hand, before it starts becoming like thieving and manipulation and stealing and sleeping around and teenage pregnancies, all kinds of abuse and rape, and dude, the list is massively long, and I'm not necessarily going to get into the details of these things today. So I'm going to say that it's our responsibility to parent our children and to be aware that substance abuse is real, okay? Don't live in the bubble that you're exempt from this and that your child is exempt from this because of where you live or your social status. That's not the case, okay? The drugs are everywhere. Drinking is everywhere. Partying is everywhere. So don't live in that. Don't live in a sphere of untouchability, because that's immediately you're letting your guard down. Also don't live in the fear that your child's going to become an addict. Okay, don't. Okay, so you have an enabling parent, and then you have that person that just like says no to everything. Okay, don't deny your child a life either. But be aware of the realities of substance abuse in our country, in your town. Familiarize yourself with the dodgy places. So, if you hear in a conversation or a phone call or WhatsApp or whatever, you hear or see something that doesn't sit right with you, at least you know where these areas are, and who the people are that are involved. I think it's a prudent thing to be aware of your child's social life, to be aware of your child's relationships with people. I mean, in my previous video, I was telling you about that guy. There's always that guy that goes from drinking to grass to whatever. But just be aware of that. Okay, if you notice any drastic change in your kid's behavior or speech or relationships, then that's a warning. Okay, that's something that says to you something's not right. It's not necessarily drugs, but it's definitely that something's not cool. These are warning signs for the beginnings of getting involved in things you shouldn't be getting involved in. Okay, but now you have an addict in your house. How do you deal with this? Number one, do not enable this person. Okay. Number two, do not try and help this person if you do not have the means to do this, okay? Parents are not police, they're parents, all right? Don't try and build some kind of program of your own, limiting money, limiting access, limiting this, limiting that, because all the addict is going to do is find ways around this, okay? And addicts are good at this, okay? We're really good at finding our way around things, okay? Get in touch with people that know what they're doing, okay? People that run treatment centers, people that have been addicts before, counselors that have experience with addiction. This is the first thing you should do. Do your research, find out what these drugs are and what they do, okay? And what the culture around these things are. Again, you're only going to find this out from people that actually know what they're doing. The most important thing, do what it takes to find a solution, okay? A lot of times people are putting their kids into treatment centers that don't work, all right? My take is that long-term treatment is the only way to go. The drug problem is not the problem, okay? That's not the issue. The drug problem is just a consequence of a set of issues that are pre-existing, but it would be stupid not to say that the substance abuse itself has created consequences as well. So that's something you need to look at. Research treatment centers that are based in finding out why this happened in the first place, and finding out and have the treatment structures in place to help people to realize their true potential, not just to stop using drugs. Okay, that's narrow-minded. Basically to dream again, and to find a reason to live again, and to live clean again. Don't be the hero, okay? Don't be that parent that says, I'm gonna save my child, okay? This is going to create absolute chaos in your home, okay? I remember in my house, the one was very authoritarian and very like, this is gonna happen like this, and the other one was like, no, but it's my kid, and I want to protect my boy, and so forth and so on. And the problem here is that an addict is going to find ways to play people off against each other, and that's something that you also need to be incredibly aware of, is that manipulation and playing people off against each other to get inevitably what they want. In short, don't enable, don't be a hero, do your research, notice and be aware of what's going on around you and around the addict. Test your kids, very important to do that. Don't worry about whether your child likes you or not. You're not their friend, you're their parent. Get involved with a group of people that have the same problem in their homes. It's incredibly important to have a place to speak, to have a place where people can hear you and not stigmatize you and not blame you for anything. As a parent, don't blame yourself for what happened. It's not your choices that created this problem in your child's life, okay? Don't sit back and feel sorry for yourself or criticize yourself that you might have not been the best parent you could have been, and this is why this has happened. It's a choice that we as addicts make. We get involved with things we shouldn't get involved in, and we end up taking that too far. So don't do that either. Get proactive, okay? Draw a line. Get involved with people that know what they're doing, and make decisions. Don't waver in your decision making. These decisions you make and following this list of things could save your child's life. So consider what I've said, and if you do have an issue, there are places to get hold of, there are people to get hold of. By all means, get hold of me. I don't have an issue talking to you about what's going on in your home, or putting you in contact with people that are qualified and specialized in their specific fields. So whatever you need, I'm here to help. But follow this list of things, consider these things, think about them, and apply them. And by doing this, you might just be saving your kid's life. Cool. So please again, like and subscribe. We've got a couple more videos coming up. Enjoy the rest of your day, and don't do drugs.